line up on this corner over by the garage, make a square. That square is going to be 4 inches by 4 inches. Enter. Then we're going to push-pull that up. We're going to push-pull that up until it meets the lip of that black stripe that we've made. And then after that, we're going to push-pull it up again, 36 inches. Enter. All right. So now we need to make that a component. So let's color that some kind of color here, because that seems to be the easiest way to do that. I'm going to grab my crayons and let's go with orange on this. Color those surfaces. Make sure we get all of them. Paint bucket here, and one more back here on the back side, which I have to zoom in apparently. Okay, so I've gotten all of those surfaces. Now I need to make it a group, so I'm going to click once. I'm going to control click, select all of the same material. Then I'm going to click again and select make group, and control click again and make component. And now I'm going to rotate around so I can see this a little easier. Alright, and I'm going to copy, move. So I'm going to grab this component by that bottom corner. Let's go with the front corner. I'm going to tap the Option key, click, and start moving. And I'm going to place the last one way over here, and I'm going to make sure that it lines up with this bottom here. So I'm just going to make sure that when I come up it lines up. I'm going to click, and then I know that I'm going to need the same number as I did piers underneath the deck, so I'm going to go 11/enter, and that should line them up all in the right spots. Now you probably guessed, as from the previous exercises, that we're missing a space right there, so I'm going to take the rectangle tool. Well, first I'm going to edit the component, so I have to click once, control click, edit component. Then I'm going to take the rectangle tool and I'm going to fill this in, and then I'm going to color it. Nice tangerine color that we have going on here, a cantaloupe. There we go, excellent, and click escape to get out of there. Now on the garage wall, we're going back to the garage wall over here. I'm going to try to make it so that I am right behind this post, right here. Excellent. I need a bottom rail, okay, and I need that not to be resting on the decking itself. I need to create a bottom rail that is 4 inches up. So I'm going to need the tape measure tool, and I will grab, for now, the midpoint of this black line if I can find it. Actually, let's grab up here. The midpoint, the bottom of this component, I'll pull it up, and I will say 4 inches up, enter. And so that gives us a point. It's not really clear, but that's okay. It is there. So now I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and we're going to make this a 2x6, starting on this point and moving up. So we'll go 6 inches by 2 inches, enter. Excellent. And now we're going to pull that. I'm sorry, that's a 2x4. Let me do that really quickly. 2x4. 4 inches by 2 inches, enter. And that looks a little better. Alright, so now I'm going to push-pull that. And normally, when you're building a deck, this would not be one giant board across here. Okay, we know this. But way out of there. Just to make things faster for this exercise, I'm going to line that up on the edge. Okay. Now, we need to make a top rail as well, and that's going to be up. We're going to make a component copy again. So we'll color this a different color. Let's go with like a, what haven't we used yet? Maybe this kind of asparagus color. Alright, sort of a greenish brown. And that way we will have this easy and ready to go. Alright, not probably your favorite color, but that's okay. Alright, now we will zoom out so we can make it into a component, which you should be used to now, a group and a component. Click once, control click, select, all the same material. Oh, actually wait, before I do that, save me some time if I color this side, yes? Right. Click once, control click, select all with same material, click again, make group, click one more time, make component, right? And we will then move that up. So I'm going to have to rotate around a little bit. I'm going to do the copy move. I'm going to grab the inside corner right here, and I'm going to tap the control key, click, start moving up, zoom out. I'm actually going to align it with the actual top of this here. Okay, for now. So now we have these big holes here. We're going to fill it with something called a baluster. Balusters are the little tiny vertical chunks of wood, and we're going to make them 2 inches by 2 inches. So I'm going to scooch in here. Alright, this can be a little tricky. I'm going to be using some lines and deleting some lines here. So I'm going to use the tape measure tool. I'm going to start on this edge in the component. I'm going to pull along the green axis. You see me doing that there. And we will inset this. These are 4x4 posts, and I'm going to make 2x2 ballasts, and I want them to hit the rail, so I'm going to go 2 inches in. Okay, and so I get that nice line there. Right. I'm also going to do it in this direction. Okay, the intersection there. I'm going to pull, and I will make these start 2 inches out. All right, and it gives me a point, not a line, which is not great, but that's still going to work. Okay. All right, so now I will create a square. Okay, this will be a 2x2 square, 2 inches by 2 inches. Enter. Right, which started at that one point and then does that there. So now I'm going to pull that up, push, pull. Right, and I'm going to pull that up until it becomes flush with the top surface of that one. All right, and now let's paint it a color. I don't think we've used red yet. Maraschino cherry red. I'm going to rotate around, get all those surfaces colored. Be far easier to deal with that this way than other ways. Alright, so we've got that top. Okay, excellent. So now we've got one nice snugly fit into there. Alright. So now I'm going to get rid of that color for a moment. We're going to create a component once again. Should get very used to this at this point. Click here, control click, select all with same material. Click here, make a group. Click here, make a component. Alright, we're going to make a copy of this component so we can fill it in. Grab that there. I'm going to use this as the bottom, as the reference point. So I'm going to move copy, grab the bottom right, tap option, click, and move. And that's going to go over here. Awesome. You can see that we've got a hole there. We know how to fix that. We click once on the baluster, then we click again to edit component. Then we draw our rectangle to fill that in very carefully. And then we use our paint tool to paint it the same color. Excellent. Alright. Then we click anywhere out to escape from there. So now we have that. Now, I probably need to, well, I obviously need to fill that in. So what I will do is I will make one more copy. Between this and this, let's measure that and see how much room there is. Large tool set, dimensions. I want to know how far it is from here to here. So it's not a fun number. It's 2 feet 6 inches and 15/16. Okay, but let's call it 2'6" for now. All right, 2'6", and I would like a few copies. I would like to have at least a couple inches in between the balusters, and they're a couple inches each. So let's say that we need, I don't know, let's say 8 balusters in between there. So I'm going to delete that for now. I will make another copy of a baluster. And I will, actually, you know what, I'm going to use the tape measure tool and space it out so there's at least 2 inches in between there. Made a 2-inch guideline dot there. Alright, so I'm going to make a copy, option, click, start to move, line it up on that point I just made. Excellent, and now I'm going to say, what did I say, 8 copies of that, so 8/enter. Ah, that looks really nice. Okay, so it's nice and filled in. Okay, nobody's head's going to get stuck in there or anything like that. Awesome. Now, this is pretty awesome by itself, but let's do something fun. Take the arc tool, and on the face of one of these balusters, it doesn't really matter which one, we're going to have to edit the component. So I'm going to click it, then I'm going to control click it and say edit component. Now we're going to go to that arc tool, sorry about that. And now, and making sure we're not going to cross the midpoint line, okay? Take the arc and just a few places on the baluster, 2 or 3 places. Click and go down that line, all right, and then pull that arc inward. Now don't go to the midpoint or to cross the midpoint. So like there's good, and I will try it again down here. All right, click, click, and then pull that out. They don't have to be the same length, that's fine. One more, click, click, and pull, not going to the midline. All right, and then one more time, I'm going to use the pencil tool now, and I'm just going to make a sort of squarish shape here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, square here, like so. All right. Now we're going to use the Follow Me tool to make this a little more interesting. So if you select the path that you want it to follow on first, so that's up here. I'm going to select all of these lines by hitting Shift. So I can select all of those. Okay, let's see how they're blue. And then I'm going to click the Follow Me tool, which is this one right here. And then I'm going to click this. And notice how it carves it out. I believe I can keep going. Let's find out. Nope. So I click, if you didn't select the path first, which I didn't down here, I'm going to go back up here. And now you'll notice that well, it's red on red, so it's a little hard to see. But I'm going to be tracing. I'm not actually clicking. I'm tracing around the outside, which it doesn't look like it's doing anything until you get to the front face and you realize that you're actually bringing that profile, that's called a profile that we cut out, all the way around. Now once you get to the end and it says endpoint, just click and then you'll see that it will carve that out. Alright? I prefer selecting the path first because it's just kind of easier. You can see it. So I'm going to do select path. Whoops, I don't want the face, I just want the edges. Then I'm going to do follow me, and then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do one more with that square so you can see what that looks like. Shift, click, 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 follow me, and if I select the square, then I get that. So now I can click and click out of there, and I have this kind of nice design on there. And you can do some fun stuff as well, like if you want to customize, I'm going to edit that component again. If you want to customize, and these edges seem very blocky, so I'm just going to put like a bit of an angle on it, okay? And then I could do the same thing. Shift, click, click, not the face, just the edge, and say, whoops, I include that last little edge here because we broke that edge up, and then say, follow me, this, and then you get those nice caps on the top, okay? So, I'm going to get out of there. All right, so now you're going to have to figure out how do I make all of these copies throughout the rest of the deck, okay? It has to do with groupings. You've done groupings several times in this exercise, all right? And so you have to fill that same baluster throughout this deck. And then the last thing you're going to do, and I'll do it right here just so you can see, is you're going to create a cap, a top rail, they call it, a railing cap here, and it's going to be 2 by 6. So I'm going to go from here up to over 6, but it's got to be, whoops, on the right plane, which I'm not at all right this second. Come on. There we go. 2 by 6, 2 inches by 6 inches, enter. All right, and then you will push-pull that across to cap off your deck. Okay, 36 feet across actually. All right, and then you will have that, except for that only did 36 inches, but you get the idea. Okay, so get creative with that.